Kazusa's practicing again. I've got some good news today. Kazusa is resuming her practice now. Her injury isn't fully healed, but it seems most of the pain is gone. She says that the rest of the healing can happen as she reaccustoms herself to playing the piano. I wish from the bottom of my heart that doing so will lead her in a good direction. I've caused you a lot of worry until now, Setsuna, but I'd be overjoyed if you could partake in the happiness over seeing the progress happen. Though, starting with the good news will make what I'm about to say even harder. This year, I might not be able to celebrate your birthday. Right now, I think that Kazusa needs my support in order to focus on her concert. That might sound excessively arrogant, but right now, I simply can't pull back. I'm sorry. Let me apologize in advance for now. Goodbye. February 6th, Wednesday. Alright, that's enough. Good work for today. I'll play until the end of the song. Just a bit more. Doesn't it hurt? You'll look like a fool if you push yourself any further and worsen your injury. I said I'm fine. I know myself better than anyone else. The trustworthiness of that statement is in a nosedive, especially ever since you came to Japan. Shut up already. Either way, call it a day for now. You should treat your wrist and give it your best tomorrow. At least let me play the piano when I want. It's the only thing I have left now. Is that so? It is. What an interesting life. Much unlike yours. So you can stop bothering me. Will you be able to go through with the rest of your life when you've wilted like this? Why should I think about such a faraway future? Because you're not like me. I'm unsure whether you'll ever fall in love again or find another man. Even if I don't have a man, and even if I can never make a family, I'll always be there to take care of you when you get old, so don't worry. I'm worried about when you get old, though, not me. That's nothing to worry about at all. I'm sure you'll still be alive when I'm dead. What kind of vampire do you take me for? Take care of yourself and live a long life. For my sake, too. Kazusa! Please, Mom. So, for how long do you plan on playing? Like I said, until the end of the song. I looked out the window just earlier. I saw Guitar-kun freezing outside in the cold. That was about 30 minutes ago. I did tell him to come and wait inside, but why didn't you say so from the start? Because you told me to let you play the piano when you want. I've told you countless times. My schedule's completely full this month.
Don't say that. It absolutely has to be today.
I told you I'd listen, didn't I? Out with it already.
And I've told you countless times too. It's not something I can tell you over the phone.
This is the 4th time we've repeated this back and forth. Takuya called me as I was waiting for Kazusa outside the studio, and his tone seemed pretty serious. "There's something I absolutely need your advice on today," was his message. It sounded desperate enough to make me falter a bit, but listen here, Takuya. The truth is that I've been entrusted with the writing of a magazine. It's a special edition of an already quite exclusive magazine.
Yeah, I heard about that. Congratulations, Haruki. You made it in life before any of us, just like I thought you would.
Thanks. Anyway, the deadline is the end of this month. The magazine is seriously never getting released if I don't put all my efforts into it. Right now, I have such a convincing excuse available to me. Not only is it a half-truth, but it's also an excuse that manages to wipe away half of my guilt.
Just 1 hour is all I need. Once our conversation is over, you can go straight back to work.
Takuya. But Takuya doesn't relent to that perfect excuse. His persistence is impressive today. He really has started to act like a middle-aged man.
You're still in Otsuku, right? I'm right by the station, so we can meet right away. I'll let you return by 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. That would delay me a little bit, but I suppose I'll still be able to prepare dinner.
I'm begging over here, Haruki. My life is on the line. I'm not exaggerating this time.
Is this about EO again?
Like I said, I'll tell you once we meet. Anyway, I'll take that as a yes.
I suppose so. As long as I contact Kazusa in advance, I'm sure. Until 9 o'clock, alright? I'll walk out the moment it turns 9, no matter what happens.
I know. Where are you right now? I'll head there right away.
I'll head towards the store from here. The usual one at that. As long as I contact Kazusa in advance.
What's the matter, Haruki? Should I come pick you up after all?
I'm sorry, Takuya. Just now, I became unable to go after all. Hey, you were talking to the president just now, weren't you? You were the only one who called him that, you know. I endeavored to make steak during the beginning of the week, but it was way beyond both my repertoire and my budget. So, we're stuck with regular old stew again. You should have gone. He went through the trouble to invite you. Don't just eat the meat. I've got some Napa cabbage boiled here. Look. Hey, don't put on so much. Hey, I said I didn't want any cognac noodles. Actually, that's beside the point. Although Kazusa is undoubtedly hungry, she's moving her mouth more than her chopsticks. It's okay. We still see each other almost every month, even now. Then you should see him this month, too. What if today causes you two to become estranged? Like I said, don't put sugar in your ponzu sauce. For as long as you keep that unbalanced diet up, I'll stay right here. Here, eat some fish too. Also, here are some radishes, carrots, and crown daisies. Wait, anything but crown daisies. I'll eat everything else. In the first place, she glared at me with tears in her eyes when she saw me on the phone. For her to tell me this now seems a bit off. Besides, Takuya isn't that kind of guy. We've been friends for almost 8 years now, you know? You not only have a lot of friends, but your friendships last a lot longer than mine, too. The amount of friends I have has nothing to do with how close my relationships are. There is also a person right in front of me who not only has few friends, but they also don't last long at all.
Back then, those who were close to you were mostly people who wanted to take advantage of you at first.
That's just your imagination. Do I look like such an idiotic people pleaser to you? Why are you sighing at me like I've said something astounding?
Because you did something astounding. Nothing more to it.
Left wholly dissatisfied with her statement, I moved the pieces of crown daisies from Kazusa's plate to mine, and in exchange, I replenished her plate with kombu, with the hope that it will help preserve her rich and beautiful hair.
But it's because you're always like that makes people trust you so quickly. They rely on you from the bottom of their hearts.
Do you think it's time for the rice porridge?
At first, I looked down on you. I thought that it served you right. I thought that it's only natural that idiots get taken advantage of.
Let's not talk about that.
But gradually, I found myself irritated at how people were tricking you. And before long, I found myself even more irritated by those who gathered around you.
When she first met me, Kazusa had no one she could call a friend or mentor. The teachers who knew of her circumstances treated her like a pebble on the roadside, and her classmates who heard rumors about her treated her like a pest. No authentic communication existed between them.
Back then, I didn't know what that feeling was. I just felt irritated and pointlessly angry. I'd always pretend to be asleep and look at you from the side.
That's just your imagination. You romanticize your perception of me too much.
That's right. I romanticized you. You were the only one who would look at me. So, I looked at only you too.
The only communication she ever received in abundance was the unbearable lecturing of a teacher's pet. However, 1 month before the school festival, she reluctantly came to socialize with that teacher's pet, and also an idol. After that came Takia, Io, and Chikashi. After the school festival, she even managed to amass fans. She was able to make friends like most people. If that was what she truly wanted, however, I still don't know. But despite that, Kazusa did indeed once overcome her loneliness.
Even now, I'm only looking at you.
She was supposed to have overcome it. The me you're looking at right now isn't the same person as back then. But now, Kazusa's loneliness is right back where it started. I've changed twice these past years. I've ceased to be the person you knew back then. She's back in Japan. Her old friends are just close by. The person I was until 2 years ago was despicable. It was just like your old self that you hate so much. Yet, Kazusa refuses to meet any of them but me. No, she can't meet them because of me. I was caught in the past, and I couldn't be kind to people. There was a person who cared about me more than anyone, yet I hurt her more than anyone.
Does that past perhaps have to do with me?
Do you think I can tell you that, regardless of if it's true or not? I understand that that's what Kazusa wanted to hear. But the more I see her the way she is now, the more helpless I feel. In the end, Kazusa couldn't find anyone special to her, besides her mother, even in Vienna. No, she never even tried. The me you're looking at right now is someone who was saved by her. I understand that. She's in utter contrast to me, who has managed to find countless people I consider precious to me here in Japan. I was able to become a little kinder thanks to her. The person I am right now is someone who is kind only to her. That's enough. You don't need to say anything more. I'm different from how I used to be.
Didn't I just say that you don't have to say anything more? Shut up! Kazusa, go home. If you're done eating, then go back to your apartment. I'm tired. Okay, I'm sorry. In contrast to how I was saved by Setsuna, Kazusa is... But, you know, Haruki...
She just told me to leave. When I stand up to leave the room, Kazusa looks at me with sulking, teary eyes.
No matter how much you change, you will never be able to deny my impression of you.
Kazusa. She just told me to leave, yet I'm still in Kazusa's room, tightly grasping her hand as she's lying on the bed.
You will never be able to wake me from these feelings that are trapped in the past.
Yeah, our trivial and pointless argument had a devastating effect on Kazusa's loneliness. I resolved to protect her until the concert ends. Yet, I've become the very person who hurt her. Does your wrist hurt?
It doesn't hurt when you hold it like that.
I see. Then I'll stay like this until you fall asleep.
It's okay. Go home.
I know I'll go home once you fall asleep.
I said it's okay. I'll make Setsuna upset if I make you do this.
I said it's okay. Of course, this is not okay. Just how long do I plan on remaining here? I'm in the room of the woman I supposedly rejected, in the middle of the night, no less.
But I won't be able to fall asleep if you don't go home. I'll start wanting to look at your face all night.
You may say that, but you'll get bored after 10 minutes. Don't worry about pointless things. There was a proper reason behind preparing dinner and picking Kazusa up. It was for Yoko-san's sake, for my job's sake, and for the sake of making Kazusa's concert succeed.
Wanna bet then? Whether I can stay up until morning or not?
But right now, there should be no reason for me to look at Kazusa fall asleep like this. All right, you've got yourself a bet. I win if you fall asleep within the hour. Even so, I can't leave Kazusa alone. I don't know if Kazusa can bear the loneliness, but I know that I can't bear leaving her.
I said until morning, didn't I? I don't need a handicap like that.
You'll regret it.
Who will?
Good night.
I just said I wouldn't fall asleep.
It was at that moment that I realized. I'm sure that Kazusa has realized it too. The only one who can observe this bet is me. The bet won't proceed unless I remain here until Kazusa falls asleep. Kazusa doesn't point out that contradiction. All she does is tighten her grip around my hand. That's why I stopped talking too. and respond with the warmth of my palm. I'm hating myself. I remembered my old self a little today. I can hear Kazusa's breath next to me. She finally fell asleep 2 hours after that. The outcome of her bet has become hazy. The same me who was so terrible to you until 2 years ago. The same me who distanced myself from you, ignored you, and only spoke lies and heartless words whenever I opened my mouth. The me who was a failure of a human. And now the time has finally come. The time dedicated to only me, where I can speak to Setsuna. It's not something I wanted to remember, but it's not a past I can avert my eyes from either. The few minutes out of the day where I can allow myself to think about Setsuna. During this short time, I put my whole heart into sending a text that Setsuna has promised not to respond to. Hey, Setsuna, 2 years ago. You saved me back then, and I was able to return to my usual, overly rigid self. I became Setsuna's. I became someone who belonged only to Oguso Setsuna. That means that the current me only exists thanks to you, Setsuna. After that, we never separated for longer than a week. Setsuna became such a natural part of my life that it wouldn't be strange if I started feeling withdrawal symptoms without her. I can believe that, right? That's why I want to hear her voice. I want to see her face. I want to hug her tightly and press my lips against hers. I want to taste her warm and sweet saliva. I want to lick her soft and somewhat coarse tongue. I feel like this text is starting to become incoherent. I'll call it a day for now. I want to make love to you, Setsuna. Come to think of it, it's only a week until your birthday. But I promised that I wouldn't meet her, not until I put Kazusa's mind at ease. If you have any requests for your birthday present, then tell me. I'll arrange anything within my budget. And I haven't even found a hint about how to do that. Later then, I'm so weak. February 8th, Friday.
Beef curry along with the salad set. I'll have milk tea to drink.
Very well.
Can I also get a fruit parfait?
Only if it's mini-sized.
Then add a mini-sized fruit parfait to my order. You can bring everything at the same time.
Certainly. I will be back shortly with your order. The waiter, who was only supposed to come to our tables to clean up the tableware, forgot completely about his job and left with a stiff expression on his face. I'm amazed you can eat so much. Looking at my own emptied lunch plate in front of me, I make the same expression as him. When I went to pick Youko-san up from the hospital, she was just about done with her medical checkup and only had to take out the IV from her hand. It hasn't even been 30 minutes since then, yet her appetite is as strong as ever.
Just kidding. I don't think I can eat it all. I actually still feel nauseous. But I'll still force myself to eat it. I'll eat from dawn till dusks, with proper nutritional balance and large portions.
Why?
So people don't ask whether I lost weight.
Though that seems to only have been my misunderstanding.
Like hell I'd let this illness get the best of me. I don't mess around. I'll fight it.
Yoko-san, as I thought, I really respect her. Or perhaps the word revere would be more appropriate. This emotional strength of hers must be the reason she was able to travel the world all by herself. A certain other woman, on the other hand, all she has is effort and talent. She's growing throughout the entire world without her emotions catching up.
More importantly, I'm sorry, Guitar-kun, for getting you mixed up in this fight of mine.
I don't mind this much.
But now you're not only taking care of Kazusa, but me too. Should I at least buy you a car so you can be more mobile?
Don't talk so casually about costs that could be in the millions of yen. I'm just a lowly middle-class citizen. If she's the one footing the bill, she probably won't settle for a mini car. And she'd most certainly rule out any domestically produced car. Don't worry about it, really. I'm doing this out of filial piety.
How about you practice filial piety towards your own parents?
I expected her to make a mother-in-law joke, but I never imagined she'd come at me from this direction.
You were on bad terms with your parents, weren't you? You've intervened in the lives of me and my daughter so much, yet you're pretty obstinate about that. What kind of joke is this?
Who cares about my personal affairs? We're not on bad terms either. We just have no interest in each other.
That sounds even more twisted than I thought. Do you really not hold a grudge against me?
For what? After finishing her beef curry, she drank her black tea in a single gulp. She happily helped herself to her parfait like a schoolgirl, before turning to the ceiling and staring at it motionlessly. Her expression is pale despite the fact that she just ate. The way she's profusely sweating from her forehead proves that she was forcing herself to eat.
You didn't want to know, did you? About my illness, I mean.
I didn't. Of course. I never would have wanted to see Tomo Yoko like this. Why would you tell me about a secret so serious that you're even hiding it from Kazusa?
Well,
also, I never wanted to learn about Tomo Kazusa's current situation. You know, I was supposed to have become the happiest man in the world soon, in a world different from where Kazusa lives. I see. I was supposed to forget about Kazusa and live as an ordinary Japanese person, protecting a humble yet priceless home.
have you told Kazusa about that?
You're unfair. What do you take my life for? That's what I'd love to shout at you, at least.
You really should shout at me. So, why are you taking care of me?
It's only natural to be concerned about the ill. Everyone is like that, right?
You really are twisted in so many ways. You're quite the amusing child.
That's partly just my official stance, though. The truth is, I'm the slightest bit grateful.
Grateful?
You told me everything honestly. You taught me about the problem Kazusa is facing without hiding anything.
I might have just wanted to find someone to drag into this mess, because I didn't know what to do by myself, you know?
That's fine, because Kazusa's happiness is my lifelong wish too. That's right, I didn't want to find out about Kazusa's situation, because I knew what I'd end up doing if I did find out. Should you really be saying that when you're trying to live in a world without Kazusa? Have you ever thought that being together isn't the only way for two people to be happy?
Setting me aside, I can't imagine that girl having that mindset.
But if she can still find another answer, if she can only understand something so obvious, that there isn't only a single path towards happiness for her.
What if no such different path existed in the first place?
I wouldn't know what to do anymore. I also didn't understand that this action I'd end up taking would be different from the action I should be taking. Are you sick of me? Do you scorn me for being an irresponsible man who's just all talk and no action? I'd be responsible for the result of that action, yet I'm not even confident that I can bear that responsibility. Just like I told Youko-san, I really don't know what to do anymore.
No, that's not it. I sense danger.
Do you think I'm in danger?
You're an honest, funny, and dangerous child. I might even feel a bit scared of what I just did. I might even feel a bit scared of what I just did. I feel like a patient with terminal cancer who just discovered a bottle of morphine.
Do I really give that impression? No one has ever told me that before, though.
Not as far as looks are concerned, but at your core.
I'm just a boring guy who opts for stability. I'm sure I must be extremely boring for girls.
I don't think so at all. After all, you have courage.
I'm a simple coward.
You wouldn't walk on this tightrope if you were. You would have abandoned Kazusa ages ago.
That's wrong. It's my cowardice that prevents me from doing that.
But doing so would undoubtedly be the most stable and correct choice.
Are you the one to tell me this?
Yeah, I don't have the right to say that. Not when I'm the one responsible for dragging you into this.
And Yoko-san managed to point out perfectly where my apprehensions lie. That's why I have no choice but to get irritated and refute her.
Even then, watching you right now makes me a bit afraid of myself.
Afraid, you say?
Perhaps people need the weakness to pull back at the last moment.
Of course it's scary.
Perhaps people need the weakness to lament about how the impossible is impossible.
If you've hesitated many times before reaching the top of the cliff, if you've been pushed forwards towards the top through conflict after conflict,
It's okay to pull back, you know? It's okay to abandon Kazusa.
then it's that very trouble that reaches out its hand towards you when you fall off, with much more strength than it had when it pushed you forward.
You can grasp that small, yet priceless happiness you told me about without reservation.
Yoko-san,
I won't bear a grudge against you as her parent. Besides, 90% of the things happening to that girl is her own damn fault.
if I could have pulled back that easily, I wouldn't have forced you to meet me.
I suppose that's true. You really are a twisted person after all.
But ultimately, I'm sure she knew I was going to say that. There is neither surprise nor dejection in her eyes. There is only the calm of someone reaffirming what they already suspected. However, that calmness shouldn't be mistaken for coldness.
But still, I have to thank you for thinking so much about my idiot of a daughter. Thank you for treasuring my biggest masterpiece.
If you had always said things like that to her, she would have grown to be a more honest and strong girl. Someone who would have been fine without us.
Life rarely goes according to plan, does it?
Well, I suppose so. Reaching this fruitless conclusion, we both drop our gazes towards the table. A weird feeling of solidarity grows between us, as if we're both guilty parties in some war crime.
Oh, can I order a pumpkin pudding?
I'll ask and see if they can make it without sugar.
That's enough. I'm full.
Hey, you haven't even eaten half of it yet.
I have no appetite. Perhaps I'm a bit tired.
Then at least eat a smooth pudding.
I don't want that either.
What?
Don't be so surprised. Wasn't it you who told me to avoid sweet stuff? Wasn't it you who told me to avoid sweet stuff?
After witnessing Youko-san's gluttony during noon, seeing Kazusa eat this little tonight feels bizarre. Where's the thermometer? What's the phone number for the nearest emergency center? Damn, what if this is COVID?
Like I said, what do you take me for?
Indeed, she's never been much of a heavy eater, but she's relentless when it comes to anything that's sweet.
I said I'm fine. I'm just a bit tired. I'll be alright if I get a good night's sleep.
You're not forcing yourself? You're not in terrible pain and just hiding it from me?
No one ever trusts me.
But you know, there's only 2 weeks until the concert.
I played once 2 weeks ago. What's the point in worrying about it now?
But thanks to you not worrying about it back then, the result was...
Regardless, I'll go to sleep now, just to be safe. You should return to your own apartment too.
But I have to clean up.
You can do that tomorrow. Anyway, hurry up and get out.
Kazusa.
I feel like being alone right now. Please.
She wouldn't let go of me yesterday. Yet, today she's being uncomfortably blunt about throwing me out. She really is fickle, always ignoring my feelings completely. Fine then. But there won't be any progress if I let myself get discouraged by this. Call me immediately if you feel ill, okay? You absolutely shouldn't keep it in. You hear me?
How persistent. I just said that it wasn't anything serious.
Because spending time with Kazusa means having to face her uneven temper. See you then. Make sure you're warm when you sleep, okay?
I'm fine.
It means accepting everything. Good night then. Kazusa?
Go home already.
Sorry, see you then. Well, I suppose I'm being overly worried. I almost expected her to throw a pillow at me with how things were going, so I closed the door with some reluctance.
Go meet Setsuna. It's the weekend after all.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Kazusa is practicing again, but it seems like her heart isn't in it. She is trying to distance herself from Haruki, which I get. The rejection is still fresh, and she wouldn't want to keep seeing him. Haruki is just unwilling to abandon her. Also, I don't think Youko is really handling this illness well. She should really tell Kazusa what is going on with her. Or when it does come out, Kazusa is going to be even more upset.